Imagine this: you've been feeling this pull, this almost magnetic force that seems to be guiding you towards something greater. You can't quite explain it yet, but deep down, you know something monumental is on the horizon. It's as if the universe is orchestrating events, people, and opportunities in ways that defy logical explanation. And here's the thing: you're not alone in feeling this. It's not a coincidence. It's not random. It's a sign. You see, in the grand scheme of things, there are those who are destined to rise, people like you, the ones I call the chosen ones. This isn't a title you earn. It's something you become aware of. It's a deep recognition that you've been called to step into a higher purpose, a higher state of being. It's not for everyone, and that's why we're talking about the top 1% secret, because the truth is, most people will never recognize this calling. They'll live in the matrix, so to speak, caught up in the mundane, unaware of the immense potential that lies just beyond their grasp.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
But you're different. You've started to notice the signs. Maybe it's subtle, maybe it's loud, but you've begun to feel the universe nudging you in a new direction. And that's what we're going to explore here, the signs that you're ready for a quantum leap as a chosen one. So, what does it feel like when you're on the verge of a quantum leap? How do you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you're about to experience a shift so powerful it will redefine your entire existence? Let's start by going deep, because surface-level thinking won't get us anywhere here. This is about tapping into the deepest wisdom of the universe. One of the first signs that you're ready for this leap is that you're feeling intense discomfort in your current reality. And I'm not talking about the kind of discomfort that comes from minor inconveniences. I'm talking about a deep, visceral restlessness. It's like you've outgrown the life you're living. The relationships, the job, the material possessions, they no longer satisfy you in the way they once did. There's a growing sense of dissatisfaction, but it's not because you're ungrateful. No, it's quite the opposite. You're grateful, but you know there's more. You can feel it in your bones. This discomfort is a clear sign that your soul is ready to expand. It's the universe's way of telling you that you've reached a point where the current version of yourself can no longer contain the magnitude of who you're meant to become. And let me tell you something: this discomfort is a gift. It's not something to run away from, even though every part of your ego will want to escape it. This discomfort is the universe's way of preparing you for the leap. It's like the pressure that forms a diamond. Without it, you'd remain a lump of coal. Now, let me ask you a deep question. Are you resisting this discomfort, or are you leaning into it? Because the way you answer that question will determine how quickly you move toward your quantum leap. Resistance only prolongs the process. Leaning into it, embracing the discomfort, is what accelerates your growth. Another sign that you're ready for a quantum leap is that you're experiencing synchronicities at an alarming rate. You know what I'm talking about, those moments where everything lines up in such a perfect way that it almost feels like magic. You think about someone and suddenly they call. You're pondering a new direction in life, and out of nowhere, a book falls off the shelf, providing you with the exact wisdom you need. These moments of synchronicity aren't random. They're the universe's way of communicating with you, guiding you toward your next step. I think of synchronicities as cosmic breadcrumbs, little hints that the universe drops in your path to remind you that you're on the right track. And the more you pay attention to them, the more they'll show up. It's like the universe is saying, yes, you're getting warmer. Keep going. And here's the secret. the more you trust these signs, the more the universe will conspire in your favor. But here's where most people fail. They dismiss these synchronicities as coincidences. They brush them off, thinking they're just random events. But you're not like most people, are you? You wouldn't be watching this if you were. You're attuned to something deeper. You understand that the universe speaks in subtle ways, and if you're seeing synchronicities, it's a sign that you're ready to take that next step. And let me tell you something, I've been there. I've experienced these signs firsthand. I've seen the universe move in mysterious ways, aligning things in my life that seemed impossible. And every single time it was because I was on the verge of a quantum leap. The signs were there, guiding me, just like they're guiding you now. But here's the thing, synchronicities alone aren't enough. They're just the signs pointing you in the right direction. What matters is how you respond to them. Are you taking action when the signs appear, or are you hesitating, waiting for even more confirmation? Because here's the truth, the universe rewards action. It rewards those who trust the signs and move forward, even when the path isn't entirely clear. Now, let's talk about another sign you're ready for the leap. You feel a deep sense of isolation. And I know this one's tough. It's hard to feel like you're walking this path alone, especially when the people around you don't seem to understand what you're going through. But this isolation isn't a punishment. It's part of the process. In fact, the greatest leaps often happen in solitude. When you're on the verge of a quantum leap, it's common to feel like you no longer resonate with the people around you. Your old friends, your social circles, they don't quite fit anymore. And it's not because you're better than them. It's simply because you're evolving, and the people who were once aligned with you may no longer be on the same frequency. This is normal. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you or with them. It just means that you're being called to a higher level, and not everyone can come with you. But here's the beautiful part. This isolation is temporary. It's a cocoon phase. Just like the caterpillar retreats into the chrysalis before emerging as a butterfly, you're in that sacred space of transformation. And yes, it's lonely, but it's also where the magic happens. It's in this space of solitude that you're able to connect with your higher self, with the universe, in a way that would be impossible if you were constantly surrounded by noise and distractions. So, let me ask you, are you willing to embrace the isolation? Are you willing to sit with yourself, to go inward, even when it's uncomfortable? Because the truth is, the quantum leap requires you to face yourself on the deepest level. It requires you to strip away everything that isn't aligned with your highest self. And that's not something you can do with a crowd of people around you. That's something you can only do in the sacred space of solitude. Now, this is just the beginning. We've touched on the discomfort, the synchronicities, and the isolation, but there's so much more to explore. The leap is coming, and the signs are all around you. Are you ready to step into it? You felt it, haven't you? That moment when everything seems to be slipping away. Maybe it's your job, your relationships, your sense of security. It feels like the ground beneath your feet is crumbling, and no matter how hard you try to hold on, things keep falling apart. It's terrifying, disorienting, and painful. But here's where the deeper truth comes in. This is not the universe punishing you. It's preparing you. You see, before any quantum leap, there's a process of spiritual purification, a clearing out of the old to make way for the new. And this process often feels like loss. The universe knows that in order for you to fully step into your role as a chosen one, as someone destined for greater things, you can't carry the baggage of your past with you. You have to be willing to let go. But here's the catch. Most of the time, we don't voluntarily let go. We cling. We hold on. We fear the unknown so much that we'd rather stay in our comfort zone, even when that comfort zone is no longer serving us. So what does the universe do? It begins to strip away everything that no longer aligns with the version of you that is about to emerge. And yes, this can feel brutal. It can feel like you're losing everything, like your life is unraveling. But understand this, you're not being destroyed, you're being refined. Just like a sculptor chisels away at a block of marble to reveal the masterpiece within, the universe is chiseling away at everything that isn't aligned with your highest self. Think about it. How many times have you held on to things, whether it's relationships, jobs, or even beliefs long past their expiration date? We do this because we're afraid. We're afraid that if we let go, there won't be anything better waiting for us. But here's the truth that no one really talks about. Before you can gain everything, you must be willing to lose everything. The universe tests you, not to break you, but to see if you're truly ready for the leap. And here's where it gets deep. The things you're losing, they were never meant to come with you into this next phase of your journey. The people who are leaving your life, the opportunities that are falling away, the structures that are collapsing, they served their purpose. They were part of your growth up until this point, but they can't exist in the frequency you're stepping into. And that's okay. You're not losing anything that's essential to your path. In fact, you're only losing the things that are holding you back, even if you can't see it yet. Let me ask you, what are you afraid to lose right now? What are you gripping onto so tightly, fearing that if it slips away, you'll be left with nothing? Because that's where the universe is testing you. It's not testing your strength in the way you might think. It's not about how much you can endure or how much you can fight to hold on to things. No, the test is in your willingness to surrender. The universe wants to know if you trust it enough to let go of what's falling apart, trusting that something greater is on the other side. And here's the profound irony of it all. The more you resist this process, the harder it becomes. The more you try to cling to what's being stripped away, the more painful it will feel. But the moment you surrender, when you stop fighting, stop trying to control every outcome, that's when the magic happens. That's when you open yourself up to receiving more than you could have ever imagined. Because here's the truth. The universe never asks you to let go of something without the promise of something greater in return. But let's be real, surrender is hard. It goes against everything we've been taught. We live in a world that glorifies control, that teaches us to fight for what we want, to never give up. But what if the real power is in the letting go? What if surrender is the ultimate act of strength? When everything is falling apart, that's when the real test begins. Can you trust that the universe has a plan for you, even when you can't see it? Can you believe that the losses you're experiencing are clearing the way for something far beyond your current comprehension? Because here's the truth, the universe never takes from you without the intention to give you something better. But you have to be open to receiving it. And you can't receive with clenched fists. Now, I want you to think about this deeply. What if losing everything is the only way to gain everything? What if the version of you that's clinging to the life you've built so far is the very thing blocking you from stepping into your highest potential? This isn't just about material loss. It's about shedding the outdated versions of yourself, the beliefs, the identities, the stories you've been telling yourself. The universe is asking you to release everything that's keeping you small, everything that's keeping you from fully embracing the quantum leap that's waiting for you. And here's the most beautiful part. The moment you fully surrender, the universe rushes in to fill the void. What you thought was lost transforms into gain. What you thought was falling apart becomes a reconfiguration of your life in ways you couldn't have planned. The people, opportunities, and experiences that are meant for you will start to flow into your life with ease, but only once you've created the space for them. So, let me ask you again, are you willing to lose everything? Are you willing to trust that the universe has something far greater in store for you, even if it means letting go of the life you've known up until now? This is the test. This is the moment where you decide if you're truly ready for the quantum leap. Because the leap isn't just about gaining, it's about surrendering, about clearing the space for something miraculous to emerge. The universe is waiting to know, are you ready? Let's take a moment to breathe. We've talked about losing everything, about the universe testing you in ways that push you to the edge. But now I want to go deeper into the idea of surrender, because this is where the real magic happens. You see, surrender isn't about defeat. It's not about giving up. In fact, surrender is one of the most powerful things you can do when you're on the verge of a quantum leap. I think about it, we live in a world that glorifies control. We're taught from a young age that we need to plan, strategize, and push our way through life. We're told that success comes from hard work, from grinding, from making things happen. And sure, there's a place for effort, but what if I told you that the real secret to your quantum leap lies in the opposite of control? What if, instead of striving and pushing, the key was to let go, to fully, completely surrender to the flow of the universe? Here's the thing, surrender doesn't mean giving up on your dreams. It doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. What it means is releasing your need to control how those dreams manifest. It means trusting that the universe has a plan for you, one that's far greater than anything you could have come up with on your own. And when you let go of your need to control the outcome, you allow the universe to work its magic. Let me ask you something. How often do you find yourself trying to force things to happen? How often do you get frustrated when things don't go according to your plan? We all do it. We set goals, we make plans, and when things don't line up the way we expect, we get anxious, we doubt ourselves, and we start to question whether we're on the right path. But here's the truth. Sometimes the path you think is right for you isn't the path the universe has in store. And that's where surrender comes in. When you're on the verge of a quantum leap, the universe may take you in a completely unexpected direction. It may ask you to walk a path that feels uncomfortable, uncertain, or even illogical. But that's the beauty of it. The universe operates on a level far beyond our human understanding. It sees things we can't see. It knows things we don't know. And when you surrender to that higher wisdom, you open yourself up to possibilities that you never could have imagined. Think about it this way. Surrender is like handing over the steering wheel to the universe. You're still in the car, you're still moving forward, but you're no longer trying to navigate every twist and turn. You're trusting that the universe knows the way. And here's the incredible part. When you stop trying to control everything, the journey becomes easier. The obstacles that once felt insurmountable begin to dissolve. The challenges that seemed overwhelming start to feel like stepping stones instead of roadblocks. But let's be real, surrender isn't easy. It requires a deep level of trust, a willingness to let go of the need for certainty. It requires you to step into the unknown, to embrace the mystery of life, and that can feel terrifying. But here's the paradox: the more you surrender, the more you gain. The more you let go, the more you allow the universe to bring you exactly what you need, often in ways that are far better than anything you could have planned. Let me share a story with you, something personal. There was a time in my life when I was trying to control everything. I had big goals, big dreams, and I was determined to make them happen. I worked hard, I pushed myself to the limit, but no matter how much effort I put in, things weren't aligning. It felt like I was constantly hitting a wall, and the more I tried to force things, the more resistance I encountered. I was frustrated, exhausted, and starting to lose hope. Then, one day I had a realization I was trying too hard. I was so focused on making things happen that I wasn't allowing space for the universe to do its part. I was gripping so tightly to my vision that I wasn't open to the possibility that the universe had something even greater in store for me. So I made a decision. I decided to surrender. I let go of my need to control the outcome. I stopped trying to force things and started trusting that the universe would guide me in the right direction. And you know what happened? Everything started to fall into place. Opportunities that I could have never predicted began to show up. People who could help me on my journey started to appear, seemingly out of nowhere. The things I had been chasing for years suddenly started to flow into my life with ease. It was as if the universe had been waiting for me to let go, to stop resisting, so it could bring me what I truly needed. That's the power of surrender. When you stop trying to control every detail, you create space for the universe to bring you what's truly aligned with your highest path. And here's the thing, the universe knows what you need better than you do. It knows the lessons you need to learn, the experiences you need to have, and the people you need to meet in order to fully step into your quantum leap. Now, I'm not saying that surrender means sitting around and waiting for things to happen. You still need to take inspired action. But the key word here is inspired. When you're in a state of surrender, the actions you take are aligned with the flow of the universe. They're not forced or frantic. They come from a place of trust and intuition. And when you take action from that place, things tend to unfold much more smoothly. So, let me ask you this. What would it feel like to let go of your need to control everything? What would it feel like to trust that the universe has your back, that it's guiding you towards something far greater than you can imagine? Take a moment and really sit with that. What are you holding on to right now that's causing you stress, anxiety, or frustration? What would it feel like to release that, to hand it over to the universe, and trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should? This is the essence of surrender. It's about releasing your attachment to the outcome, knowing that the universe is always working in your favor, even when things don't seem to be going according to plan. The leap you're preparing for requires this level of trust. It requires you to let go of the old ways of doing things, the old ways of thinking, and step into a new way of being, one that's aligned with the flow of the universe. So here's my challenge to you. What can you surrender today? What can you release, trusting that by letting go, you're actually making space for something far greater to enter your life? The quantum leap is waiting for you. The universe is ready to guide you. All you have to do is let go. Now that we've explored the deep and transformative power of surrender, you're ready for the next phase of your journey, stepping into your power. This is the moment where everything starts to shift. This is where you stop being a passive participant in life and become an active co-creator with the universe. Because here's the truth. The quantum leap is not something that just happens to you. It's something you step into. It's an energetic shift that requires your full presence, your full commitment, and most importantly, your willingness to harness the immense power that's already within you. You've surrendered. You've let go of what's no longer serving you. Now, you're standing at the edge of something monumental. The quantum leap is here. But how do you step into it? How do you harness the energy that's swirling around you, waiting for you to claim it? The first thing to understand is that power is not something outside of you. It's not something you have to chase or acquire. It's something you already possess. The energy of the quantum leap is not something you get, it's something you align with. It's already within you. The leap you're about to make is not about becoming someone else or achieving something outside of yourself. It's about remembering who you truly are and stepping into that truth with confidence and clarity. Let's start with a deep question. What would it look like for you to fully step into your power? Imagine it for a moment. How would you walk? How would you speak? How would you make decisions? When you step into your power, you're no longer living from a place of fear or scarcity. You're no longer second-guessing yourself or wondering if you're good enough. You know, deep in your core, that you are more than enough. You know that you were chosen for this path, and you trust that the universe is supporting you every step of the way. But here's the thing, stepping into your power requires you to take responsibility. This is a crucial part of the quantum leap that many people overlook. When you step into your power, you can no longer play small. You can no longer blame external circumstances or other people for where you are in life. You have to take full ownership of your reality. And this is where the real shift happens, because when you take responsibility, you realize that you have the power to create anything you desire. This is what separates the chosen ones from the rest. Most people are content to live in a state of victimhood, believing that life is happening to them. But when you're ready for a quantum leap, you understand that life is happening through you. You are a co-creator with the universe, and with that realization comes an incredible amount of freedom and responsibility. Now, let's talk about the practical side of stepping into your power. How do you actually harness the energy of the quantum leap? It's one thing to know that you're powerful, but it's another thing to live it, to embody it in your day-to-day life. So let's get practical. First, you need to start making decisions from the version of yourself that has already made the leap. This is crucial. Too often we make decisions based on our current circumstances, or worse, based on our past. But if you want to harness the energy of the quantum leap, you need to start thinking, acting, and making choices from the version of you that has already leaped. What does that version of you look like? How does that version of you think, feel, and act on a daily basis? I want you to take a moment and visualize it. Who are you on the other side of this leap? What kind of life are you living? What kind of choices are you making? The key here is to start embodying that version of yourself right now. Don't wait for the external circumstances to change, because here's the secret: your external reality will shift to match your internal state. When you start thinking, feeling, and acting like the version of you who has already made the leap, the universe will rearrange itself to match that vibration. This is not just wishful thinking. This is the law of the universe. Energy attracts like energy. And when you start vibrating at the frequency of the version of you who has already made the leap, you become a magnet for the people, opportunities, and experiences that are aligned with that frequency. So here's a practical exercise. Start making decisions as if you've already leapt. When faced with a choice, ask yourself, what would the version of me who has already made the leap do? Would they settle for less? Would they play small? Or would they boldly step into the unknown, trusting that the universe has their back? The more you practice this, the more you'll start to feel the energy of the leap building within you. You'll notice that you're no longer making decisions from a place of fear or lack. You're making decisions from a place of abundance, from a place of power, because you know that you are aligned with the energy of the universe. And finally, trust. Trust that the universe is guiding you. Trust that the energy of the quantum leap is already within you, waiting to be activated. You are powerful beyond measure. All you need to do is step into that power, make decisions from that place, and align yourself with the frequency of your highest self. So, let me ask you, are you ready to step into your power? Are you ready to harness the energy of the quantum leap and become the version of yourself that you've always known you were destined to be? The universe is waiting. The leap is waiting. All you have to do is say yes. This is the final part of the journey. Are you ready to take the leap?